All right, let me try this and see if indeed it is actually working.
You may not find us on your TV because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
All right, well, I never did get around to fixing that foot switch. I think that's going to be the downfall tonight. However, we are here again, yet again, the Old Tube Radio Network. It just seems to keep going and going. The Energizer Bunny has nothing on us. We're way far ahead of that dude. Hello and welcome to 27085. I think that is the frequency that I'm trying to be on tonight. The Old Tube Radio Network, Channel 11 here in the Central Valley of California. And I can see I rearranged a few things in the studio tonight. Probably not all the things I need, and I just noticed that my clock, my giant LED clock, is nowhere to be seen where it normally is. So I'm going to have to rely on probably something that's very far away that I have to look at, but it says it's 7 minutes after 8, which is probably about right. So to get started here, since this is our new 8-week roster for the Old Tube Radio Network, where real radios go in the dark, you remember those from about 1958 to 1978, produced for the Class D 11-meter citizen band radio service. They are still around, and we will be chatting with a few of them this evening. Also, the shortwave listeners will be listening and joining us as well. You can join us, too, if you are not on Channel 11 here in the Central Valley of California. Try oldtuberadio.net or maybe the YouTube video, which is up and running. And where is... Oh, okay, they got to hand me. Bozo Control is supposed to make... And he did. It's way over here. We have to pick the double zero. What is this? It's in this glass... This heavy glass jar. And you know what? You know how much of a klutz I am. So if I don't hold this right, it's going to go shattering on the floor. So let's pick a double zero from those who had perfect attendance the last 8 weeks. I think all those little cards and numbers are in here. There is just one. All right, let me get this out of the way. So it doesn't... So I don't break anything. And the item of interest, who folded this? There it is, right there. SWL 47. Mike. I think I put his handle down one time as TRC 214 or 217, which is the walkie-talkie he used to use when he first joined in the net. Are you listening, Mike? Are you in the radio lounge? All right, he probably doesn't know that it is his time yet, so let me get the right screen up here. I would want that one, and the double zero, who will be checking in at some point, I bet, when he figures out that he is indeed double zero. SWL number 1, of course, the Cosmic Check-In, and SWL number 2, Mr. OBP, who is out. I have to check all my various screens here, out and about on the video side, as are many stations out there tonight. Hello, Mr. OBP, who is testing. I was looking to see if there's a solar report. I don't think so, although we are having some good conditions. It's the CW Worldwide Contest on amateur radio, so that's keeping the bands, the atmosphere nice and toasty, no doubt. Got Kevin checked in. SWL number 3. Rob is checked in from Facebook. SWL 4. SWL 5. That's Ida, Mama Rose. I saw her the other day, and she was across the big lawn over at Glen Agnes and waved a hand and said, please say hello to all the Old Tube radio operators and SWLs, and we have done just that. SWL 6, SWL 7.
SWL 7 checking in.
Checking in, and we got you checked in. I'm trying She said you use a phone book on the switch. That helps raise it up, but the switch is still kind of messed up there. We got you checked in.
Thank you.
And speaking of Chrissy, we now have in the SWL 10 position from Idaho, and also, what is it, Foxtrot Tango India. Those phonetics should mean something, and Chrissy's out there saying hello. And she's got her green sweatpants and green shirt and slippers on. I don't know. We'll see if we have any green radios tonight to match your wardrobe. I probably got some green somewhere, but I don't think it's showing. And I don't know. I'm wearing the pocket protector tonight. We'll see if the pen I choose out of the stack here is green. You never know. Over to SWL 13. You can always check in at oldtuberadio.net or Facebook page. I'll see that eventually. Channel 11 is always a good place because I will hear you and the entire world will hear you checking in as well. SWL 14. SWL 15. Fred checks in via the Facebook often. I will check that. SWL 16. SWL 17.
17 checking in.
SWL 17. That is Eric, Carolina Kid. We've got you checked in the first week of this 8-week roster, and thanks for listening to the Saturday night place to be.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening, everybody.
Over to SWL 18. That's Mike KDA. I got to check in for him off of Facebook. Over to SWL 19, who is out there. I was late tonight. I left a key under the mat. And Derby, New York, and Charlie out of Anoka, Minnesota, let themselves in. And by the time I got here, by the time I actually arrived, most everything was already set up thanks to them. So they did a great job of getting me at least almost on the air on time. Over to SWL 20.
Number 20 here. Hello, Dennis. Check in 29 and 54.
I will do that. I will add that to the list. You sound good. So hopefully you'll be able to hang out in the Radio Shack with us tonight as we check in radios and do all those other things.
Oh, yeah. Well, at least I'm real close to the radio room now, if I'm not in it. Also, I changed the audio output tube in the transmitter, so hopefully I sound a little bit better.
That sounds good. It's nice and clear. I've got the S meter up, and it is moving in the right direction when you add in modulation to the carrier, so I think everything is good to go over.
Okay. I just realized you might need to proxy me in next week, but if I get back in time, I'll do it myself.
Okay, very good. I will make a note. I'm just looking at the video. The fan over the piece of equipment that's about 3 feet behind me, it looks like I'm wearing some type of a hat. So that is the the official OTR hat. What would you call that? I don't know. It looks interesting to say the least.
Okay. I'll go in the other room and check it out. We'll catch you later.
All right, you know what I did is I moved some stuff that the camera was on here on the computer. It changed the angle of how the camera is, so it looks a little bit different, but I kind of like that. I kind of like my interesting hat. We are doing the direct-to-net roll call. Radios will be coming up over to SWL 21, and that is Mr. JT from the South Carolina Wasama Swamps. He was on Old Radio Night tonight, and JT, I apologize. I was so busy trying to get things reconnoitered and set up here. I had the audio running, but I wasn't able to jump over and and say much. DD21 requesting a check-in, and he said he had many good contacts with the Cam 88. That's right, he was on the Cobra Cam 88 tonight. He's got a great station regardless of what radio he puts into the antenna. And the DNA Hornet as the reverse preamp. So a little bit of QRP perhaps. Checking in from outer space in the Wasama Swamps. Do I have, let me see if I have a replay. Let me go over to the other device here and see if I have a replay of the old radio night tonight. All right, I think I do. It sounded something like this.
Little Mud Duck Hornet, Light Night Ranger 21, I'm gone.
He had some good conditions tonight.
Toxic masculinity. Yeah.
Hey, 21, can I still get over there? Hey, 21.
He's got a great station with lots of skip.
Real good there, come on.
That is old radio night, so check it out on your Universal Media Net web on Saturdays, probably on Pacific time about 5 or 6 p.m. as he is out in South Carolina. Thanks, JT. Over to SWL 22. SWL 23. And SWL 23 is on one of my screens. If I look at the right one, yes. 23 Skidoo, of course, is out. Where are you tonight, Mitch? You are probably out near the water somewhere. Oh, let me see. It looks like you left a message here. DX is rolling in Santa Cruz. Out near Santa Cruz. We had some earlier, some of the Gray Line stuff. So those stations that are in Nevada, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Colorado, Utah, listen in tonight because we could have some items opening up. So 23 is riding the waves and the wavelengths with OTR tonight. Thanks, Mitch. Over to SWL 24. SWL 25.
Oh, Dennis, 25 checking in. Check. What's really going on?
All right, 25, we've got you. You're sounding good here on a Saturday evening on the old Tube Radio Network.
Hey, thank you, Dennis.
Then I get to turn the page 2 for SWL 27. And I do have the crossband linked in tonight. I think the audio is actually linked into the board here, so if you pop in, I might be able to hear you. The break OTR, I think that was 24. Okay, I just barely hear you there. Something's going on with your microphonium, but I know it's you. So, Joseph, you are checked in. Then we are going to go to SWL 29, got a proxy for Mr. Loner, and then over to the infamous RFI up there in Idaho, who Chrissy and Dwayne have actually checked in when skip conditions are right. I wonder if things will pop in tonight. Got you checked in, Dwayne. Over to SWL 31. Let me see. Let me go to the other screen here and see who is actually listening in tonight. Starting from, let's go up to the balcony. Dallas, Georgia. Hello to you coming up. Inglewood, Colorado, listening in. Redding, California. If we get some of the short backscatter, maybe we'll hear Redding tonight from Fresno. Kirkland, Washington. Hello to you. The unknown SWL with the paper bag over there, radio. But you know who you are. The crew from Squamish, BC, Albert, and the gang said they had some skip on Friday afternoon and got back to the Great Lakes region. The fastest contact, and they love the skip. The skip, is it 3, 4, 5? I don't know. They're rivaling the Pep Boys out there in Squamish, British Columbia. Hope we have some conditions tonight. Lots of stations listening in Fresno, Hendersonville, Tennessee. That's the one we're looking for. At the moment, we will get Robert and Teresa checked in. Also, hello to Somerville, South Carolina, Oakland, California, Dayton, Ohio, where they're not having did not have the big ham fest this year. Manhattan Beach, and of course, in the front row, right down in the footlights, Charlie and Anoka and 14047 in Derby, New York. 31 is in, over to SWL 32. SWL 33, myself and Bozo Control. Where is Bozo Control? He ran out of here once he gave me that big jar full of the numbers and is nowhere to be seen. All right, well, I'm checking us in. I'm checking everybody in here. Over to SWL 34. And that is Jimmy. I don't see Jimmy checking in yet. He is just outside Chicago, so he may be doing something. Could come by tonight. Hello to SWL 35. And I'll refresh my screen on the other computer because Bill has probably stopped by. I just didn't see the post yet. SWL 36. SWL 37.
37 here, Dennis, and good evening.
And good evening. Hello, radio. We've got you checked in for the Old Tube Radio Network.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll be back out there in a little while to check in something, hopefully.
All right, we'll be here to put the check-in on paper, I hope.
Absolutely. All right, talk to you a bit.
All right, my screen finally refreshed over to SWL 35, checking in from soon-to-be snowy Wyoming. We are getting down finally into the upper 40s in the evening. Don't think we made 80 degrees today, but it was a really nice day out and about here in Central California. Bill, we've got you checked in, Mr. Bill of Red Monkey Communications. There's Charlie waving a hand. And I see the Bob and Steve show. We'll get to you in a moment. And a host of others here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Over to SWL 38. Shortwave listener 39. SWL 40.
SWL 40 here. And don't forget, next month on the 14th is the Fresno Amateur Radio Swap Meet in Clovis.
And we'll have information on that. It should be at the sort of the normal location where it's there. I talked to Pat today. He said he's not bringing anything out. He has many things, but for some reason, I don't know. He might have his own shebang on the loading dock. We'll see for that, but that's coming up in a couple of weeks here locally. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
Then we've got SWL 41, Road Dog 507, listening in from, well, where are you tonight? Checking in from Hudson Valley. Okay, as usual, Worldwide Sign Band 507, the Alpha Charlie 244, and a host of others. I would never remember all those numbers. I'd have to have them on a little cheat sheet. I did that when I was a novice. Amateur radio, I had my name and my location, my city, and my call all on a little piece of paper in front of me so I could, on CW. So in case I forgot, I could look at the letter, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Sometimes if you're just not a CW guy, you gotta have that stuff in front of you to cheat a little bit. So Road Dog is in. Let's go over to SWL 42.
Yeah, let's proxy in 42 in the game.
Yeah, I'm going to give him an actual check-in because I heard him. In fact, we all heard him when we ran to our radios and said, is that a voice from the past? What was it, 38 lower the other night? So he was sounding pretty good. The radio sounded like it was working, so I've got Mr. KW checked in, and I'll get the rest of the gang. Thanks.
Thank you.
Over to SWL 43. See how he's good. We sounded great on sideband the other night. SWL 44. And not doing too bad of a job here on AM with the high noise level. He's up in some altitude, so even as the skip that was here earlier fades out, he can still hear it, plus the usual QRM and stuff. Thanks, Ray. We got you checked in. Chrissy says, don't brag about the weather. They're pulling 26 degrees. Well, soon to be snowy wherever you are, perhaps in Idaho and Cheyenne, Wyoming, and places elsewhere. Now, here's a guy who will get some snow probably this year if we get the right conditions. He's right at that place where the snow line can go here in the Central Valley. SWL 45. Hello, Paul.
Oh, yeah. Kind of missed not being double zero, but here we are. 45 checking in.
Yeah, you were in the bucket. You were in the big glass jar, but we got close. We pulled out 47. But not 45, and you did a good job the last 8 weeks. So think of it this way: you got a little time off, right? You have to rush in the room at 8 o'clock. We got you checked in.
Thanks, Dennis. By the way, you sounded good tonight.
All right. Despite my best efforts to break things, and the scope showing it's a little weak, but maybe we're okay. I'll just leave it alone. If you say it's good, it's got to be good. Thanks, Paul. Over to SWL 46. I think he checked in last night. Somebody heard him last night, checking in on the sideband net. And here's the guy who is 00, SWL 47.
Wait a minute. What'd you just say?
I said, here's the guy who is 00, SWL 47. Yes, indeed, at the beginning of the net tonight, we pulled SWL 47 out of the big glass jar for the 00.
Oh, my God. You're kidding me. Well, I was watching The Great Escape, trying to figure out when and where they're cutting Steve McQueen out of that motorcycle jumping scene. Oh, for God's sakes. I feel like I just won an Academy Award. I'm holding, well, it's not an Oscar. It's a amplified D104. But, well, that's nice. Thank you. And I'm speechless here, but I will say greetings from the Radio Lounge, as always, where we've got a Magic Eye tube and probably about 1,000 flicker bulbs decorating the Radio Lounge for Halloween.
Sounds good. I see a lot of Halloween decorations going up. This is the flicker bulb frequency, and I'm trying to think if we'll have one more. I think our next OTR is actually Halloween night, I think. So that usually promotes a couple of spooky radios, especially those with the magic eye winking and blinking. And we'll have to see what happens. All right, we've got you checked in as SWL 47, and I will also add you in as 00, which will be going on for the next 8 weeks. Over.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. That's actually very exciting. I'm going to have to ask you something. I don't normally do this, but occasionally I've heard folks kind of like early checking in a vacuum tube radio if they can't be around later on. Is that correct?
We can do that. We have done that previously, or someone checks in on a vacuum tube radio as they are doing the SWL thing. Let me know what you got, and then they don't make it back, I will add it to the list.
All right. Well, I am just about ready to pack up and head off to Hobbs Grove. So if you feel so inclined, I do have a green radio with a blinking and winking, delightful Magic Eye tube, my Robin T123.
Okay, I will add that somewhere into the list tonight so that you can keep getting the backpack and the Cliff Bars and all that stuff that you need ready to go. Over.
No backpack. We're just going to file down our fingernails before we go. But anyways, maybe I'll give you a report if folks are still around when we're back.
All right, I put up in the little box there the Robin. No, I got the wrong one. You have the Robin. No, I got the right one. The Robin T123 with the magic eye in the front, winking and blinking, doing its green thing. Thanks for checking in and checking in and checking in. Got 3 check-ins at once. That's a first. A 00 and then the regular number and a radio all at the same time here on your old tube radio network, where those types of radios will be checking in shortly after the roll call. Over to SWL 48. SWL 49. Shortwave listener 50.
And a good evening, one and all. Yes, he's here.
Here, there, and everywhere. Thanks, Mark. We are putting the X in the square. SWL 51, who I did see... I saw Dave up on the video side. Not sure if he... Maybe like a couple of us here tonight, you were out changing things in the radio room tonight. And can't make it. It says one of those nights. Sometimes it's one of those weeks, and it seems like it's turning into one of those years. All right, Dave, we've got you checked in 305 out of Sanger. Take a range check on your good audio that always comes out of that rig. SWL 52. SWL 53.
53, checking in.
SWL 53. Hello, Bob. Mr. Belair at the microphonium, and we have you checked in.
Thank you.
Over to page 4, the old Tube Radio Network, and we will get a check-in for Mr. Board Jammer. Also, moving up to SWL 55. Put a proxy check-in for 55, because as they're going to be busy, he's going to be busy for a while getting everything put back together up there. But he is still radioactive. For sure. Over to SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis from the net. 56, just for kicks.
Might need a few kicks to keep me awake tonight. No, I'm doing good. I got plenty of sleep, and I'm excited about checking in some radios. Thanks, Phil. SWL 57, right there on the screen. Mr. Brown Dog Audio. Perhaps from Central Kentucky tonight, I think, with saying a little, checking with some frost on the pumpkin. I don't have a pumpkin, and there is no frost. So I need to get with the program here. Thanks. Worldwide Sidebander 1942. Another guy's probably got a bunch of numbers that he's memorized. I have trouble with just SWL 57. Thanks for checking in. SWL 58. All right, I got you in there. I think you may have your rig set for sideband audio instead of AM audio. And I didn't catch all that you said, but I have a feeling that you've been trying to rack up some points in the contest. Over. All right, very good. Got you checked in. Jeremy is net control of the Friday night Ditch Banks sideband net, where all are welcome. You can tune that in. Check it out on Fridays at 8 p.m. Pacific time on 36 lower. That's 27,365. And had a good turnout last night. It seems like I can hear a lot of stations better on sideband than I hear them on AM, but that doesn't mean we stop trying. Thanks, Jeremy. SWL 59. SWL 60.
Yeah, that's Proxy and Joe.
All right, going to Proxy and Joe on the 291 radio from up there in Clovistown, I think. Let's try SWL 61. SWL 61. Hello, Dean. We do have you checked in on the old Tube Radio Network tonight.
Thank you, sir.
And then we go to SWL 62. SWL 63. I looked. I did not see that Butterbean had checked in on Old Radio Night tonight. Let's try SWL 64. Shortwave listener 65.
SWL 65 checking in.
All right, Eric, good to hear you. I'm putting the X in the square, and let's see, I'm also putting a check-in, a proxy check-in for M&M.
I was just going to say that, give a proxy to M&M. I talked to him earlier this evening, and, same old thing like last week, just working on it. So, they'll be around soon.
Okay, yeah, it's not like there's a ton of stuff that needs to get done, and it'll take a while, so you just keep chipping away at it. All right, thanks for checking in.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Sounded good down here in the Midtown tonight. Over to SWL 66. Shortwave listener 67. Bill, who's coming in from Oregon tonight? Anybody? I thought I've seen somebody from Hillsboro. I don't know if that's Bill or not. I'm going to check you in anyway, because I know you're listening. You're going to be listening at some point, whether you're watching the video back or a live and direct. And if you're out on the radio, you might even hear us tonight, wafting through the various E-skip or whatever happens. SWL 68. SWL 69. I'll get Kenny checked in. He stopped by last week on the video and said hello to all. And we're saying the same thing, Ken. Hello when you see this check-in, and we've got you. Over to SWL 70.
Hi, Janice. 70 checking in.
And we've got you checked in. Any, like late summer, early fall, DXing expeditions in the works?
Not at this time.
Okay. I forgot to ask Mike if where he's going. He's going to take his radio for some radioactivity. Sometimes it's best to stay put. Less trouble that way. We got you checked in.
Thanks, man. You know what I'm going to try this year, though?
What are you going to try? Over.
I'm going to try the winter field day and do some snow camping and try to... I've been thinking about it for a couple of years and always miss it, but I'm thinking I'm going to try to do that this year.
That sounds... Oops. Sorry, my phone book's just collapsed on me down there with the foot switch. That sounds like a good idea. Maybe you'll be able to park in a spot. We'll hear you somewhere. By then, I might be able to have the secondary HF radio up, and we'll catch you on at secondary crossband.
Sounds good. All right, thanks very much, Dennis. Appreciate it. Let it roll.
Yeah, and what he's talking about is the old Tube Radio Network, where we are at right now, Central California, 27085. Something we've been doing for the last 35 years or so, which is to jump back into time, listen to the old radios that glowed in the dark, and get a on-the-air demeanor of what it kind of sounded like back in the day, as stations would check in and have a good chat on the radio before the days of looking at your phone or getting on social media. You would turn off Jackie Gleason or Red Skelton or Ed Sullivan or the Smothers Brothers who were ever on TV and jump over to the other side of the living room and turn on the radio and chat a little bit. And that's what we do here on the old Tube Radio Network. Looking for SWL 71. And I did see Dallas, Georgia, way up. He's way up in the balcony tonight. What are you doing up there, Stan? Eating. He's got the big bag of popcorn from the green room tonight. Stan is checking in, and my guess is he may be doing some Sierra Hotel whiskey check-ins on the worldwide DX sideband, whatever's going on. There's a big contest going on. It's one of the big contests, so that's why you hear all sorts of noise. So, Stan, thanks for taking time out and jumping here the old Tube Radio Network. Eric and Clovis, SWL 72. SWL 73. SWL 74. I'm supposed to get Jilly checked in, and I will do that. SWL 75. SWL 77.
Well, good evening, Dennis, and 77 on the Tower of Power in the Tower District. Getting checked in. 73 is all the listeners, and boy, I got a mess going on here, but we'll get it.
Sometimes it takes a while, but although it sounds like with the carbon fiber desk and all the radios on there the right way, it's going to look a lot more, I don't know, like you're on the true broadcast station. It just takes time. I'm still using the door down here that I made up about 35 years ago. It hasn't broken yet. All right, Dennis is checked in over to SWL 78. SWL 79. SWL 80. I had somebody say proxy on Metal Man, and I will do that. Got Paul checked in. Going to page 4. Before I do, let's check in with the Bob and Steve show up there in Ohio. They take good care of us. Bob definitely takes good care of us. That's why I am so well-dressed on Saturdays with the official, the official OTR SWL shirt that's got my name and my SWL number in case I forget. Remember, I said I had to have stuff written on cards. I have to have it written on my shirt as well. So when I'm checking in, I know who the heck I am. So I hope you're all doing okay out there. What's going on tonight? Free popcorn in the balcony. That's why so many people changing locations up there, getting the free popcorn. There's a really huge bag that they're giving out tonight in honor of that. Also says, put in a new Chinese checkerboard. That is something I haven't played in about 50 years. Chinese checkers, chess table, and chairs in the green room lunch. I'm going to steal one of those chairs. If you hear me dragging something down the hallway, that's because I'm stealing the really nice chairs from this one that I think I got out of the dumpster at one of the local radio stations. They were throwing it away, but the arms are still on. It's not falling apart, and it's better than what I had. So I may steal one of those great chairs from the Green Room Lounge. Jingle Singers were so pleased with our singing with them last week that they want us to do it again. So if you hear some extra harmonies on the Jingle Singers tonight, you know who to blame. And at the bar tonight, over in the Green Room, from the Windy City, Chicago, deep dish pizza and free first beer is on us. You know, I'm going to go over there tonight for sure. Maybe during the show. I'll just put it on automatic. Most of the radio and TV stations have an automatic thing. We don't have automatic on OTR. We do it live and direct. So, it says see more. There is more. You thought everything was going on in the Green Room tonight. They took the Jingle Singers to Memphis, Beale Street, in the private jet. Yeah, I get the bill for the private jet fuel. So much fun. All right. And it says the card is still working. Check the expiration date on that card, won't you? If it says 10/20, your days are numbered, buddy. I'll probably renew it anyway. The old Tube Radio Network. Page 4 is where we are at looking for SWL 81, Mr. Steve Areno. Steve is out there in some secret location where sometimes if he's loud, he's able to get a keyboard and get on and say hello. But I know you are out there listening, Steve, so Unicorn is checked in. SWL 82. Get a note to perhaps proxy in Ron, and I will do that. You sounded very good on the sideband net last night. SWL 84.
Surprise, surprise. 84. Good evening there, Dennis. Long time no spoke yet.
Yeah, I was running around, and I think I heard you pre-show, and I thought that was a good thing. Heard a couple of stations this week that have not been on in a long, long time. And when you checked in, as you checked in, I noticed the light over here on the old tube radio on the air sign just glowed a little bit brighter. A sign courtesy that you see often here on the old tube radio network, courtesy of Jerry and the gang over there. All right, we've got you checked in, and yes, indeed, is it good to hear you on the amplitude modulated mode?
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. If you can check in my girls, I really appreciate it. Roger.
All right, coming up in moments, we will do that. Take care, and thanks for saying hello on the old tube radio network.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis, and I'll check in with this one here a little bit later on.
Sounds good. I've got a brand new list that's ready to put on some radios tonight. And that's why we're here. The old tube radio network, real radios glowing in the dark. Our number one function is to see how many of those glowing tubes we can get on the air. Over to Reedleytown, SWL 85. And then we will do the triple play check-in, 86, 87, and 88. And that is the Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and the Snowy Owl, respectively. Over to SWL 89. SWL 90. Have a proxy check in for 90. SWL 92. SWL 93. I may have missed it. I'm going to get Louis checked in. Sometimes he will get in a little bit early, which is convenient. So, Louis, if you're listening, we got you checked in. Over to Fresno Dave, SWL 98. And hello, Radio 544, a.k.a. 98 on the old tube radio network. Thanks, Dave. And also, let me backtrack and say hello to Jimmy, checking in a different, from a different time zone tonight, Mr. Railroader at the Digital Microphonium 546 out of Batavia, Illinois. Thank you, Jimmy. And I think Rob left me an email that he actually got to chat with you. So that's a good thing. I've still not got a hold of Rob yet. I'm going to give him a call. I'm going to give him a call tomorrow. See if I can get in on the hotline number. Where are we going? Let's go into the big numbers. SWL 103. Shortwave listener 109.
Good evening, Dennis. This is Crawdad 109 checking in.
109 up in the big town of Auberry. Hello, Crawdad. You are sounding good on AM, and you sounded great last night on the Ditchbanks net on sideband. You've got a great radio there, all modes and all bands. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you, Dennis.
Station.
And the station go.
Yeah, I had a phone call. Did Louis get proxied?
Let's see. I'm checking. Yes, I indeed did that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, 109 is in. How about SWL 110? SWL 111 with a note earlier, listening through all the skip. The skip is gone, so Robert, if you're listening, I'm getting you checked in. We can always hear Reedleytown, but sometimes they can't hear us. SWL 113. SWL 114.
114 checking in.
There is Wayne. Hey, Rick Shaw, we got you checked in. Thanks for jumping in on here on Saturday night.
10-4. Can you proxy in the Ditchbanks of Biola number 82?
Yeah, let me do that. I did not hear Ron, so I will get him proxied in. I heard Jeremy, but not Ron. All right, it is done.
Thank you, Dennis.
Then over to SWL 128, John in, where is he? Fairfax, Virginia. I almost forgot. And he is probably maybe doing some DX tonight on the contest. Juliet Lima Foxtrot. Is probably being heard somewhere on the amateur radio bands. Let me check. Are you on my screen somewhere? That is from 1 hour ago. All right. All right, here we go. A grandson graduated from basic training this week at Fort Benning, Georgia. Hoo-ha! All right. A proud granddad. Very good, John. Congratulations on to that. So there is good news. Thanks for checking in. That's something I never went through, but I would imagine you got to be up to the task to get in and get out of there. So good deal. Next, we've got SWL 131. SWL 133. In our Saturday night tube contest, SWL 133. Hi, Dave, out there in Northwest Fresno. We've got you checked in. And hey, there's Butterbean, SWL 63. I was going to say, I didn't see you. I might have missed you because I wasn't in a lot on old radio nights. Sometimes I'll give you a check-in if you're there, but you are right here with us tonight. A little late due to the storms and having some fun on 40 and 80 meters where there's probably a lot of contesting going on. I can't remember if the contest ended today or if it's going on, but anyway, out there with the big guns on. Wonder if you're doing some AM. Your neck of the woods, 3880, 3885 is probably the frequency. All right, thank you, Butterbean from North Georgia, checking in. Over to Dave is in SWL 135.
SWL 135, checking in.
Checking in, and it sounds like you have the tubes warmed up.
Yeah, so sorry about that for the feedback. I'm listening to myself on another radio.
Yes, or you could tune in oldtuberadio.net and do the same thing, except it wouldn't feed back. It would more be like a big echo loop. All right, you're sounding good, and we got you checked in. Over to 137, I've got a check-in, a proxy check-in for AJ. And thanks, Butterbean, says the contest is still going. I was going to try and get the other HF radio hooked in tonight into the audio, and it just wasn't going to happen. So maybe next week we'll be able to do a little more SWLing when the time is right. So let's head up the hill to, here's a guy that could do some contesting too. Tony, 145.
Well, good evening, Dennis and the group. This is Tony, 145 in Course Gold. Boy, it makes a difference when you switch it back from LSB back to AM. 145 checking in. Hope everybody's doing well, and thank you for doing the net.
My pleasure. Sometimes that's a little secret. Sometimes when you're listening to AM and it's crowded and there's noise, you can either pick the upper sideband or the lower sideband, because we're doing a double sideband with the carrier thing, and that'll help out. So that's a little trick, especially if it's noisy or there's a lot of skip and you're trying to hear a mobile out there. Try it on one of the sidebands. And sometimes you are amazed at how it works. Thanks for checking in.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. No, I just forgot to switch it over from last night. Still on LSB from last night. Forgot to switch it to AM earlier. I was having issues earlier, but Dennis the Menace helped me out there, and we got her straight.
Yeah, it sounds like it's working 100%. So got you checked in. Tony, up there in Course Gold. Let's go a little farther down the road to Fayetteville, North Carolina. Juliet, Gulf, Quebec. Neil might be out there saying that at Suffolk over and over, trying to get some points in the contest. He is listening in. Good conditions last 2 days. Lots of Texas on 38 lower sideband. Says, hope we are all doing well here in the area and the fire's under control. Yeah, so far, there's going to be some high winds and things happening tomorrow with the weather change, with the low pressure coming in. PG&E is going to be cutting power up in the hills, so they say, near all the transmitter sites for the radio and television stations, because they don't want any sparking and arcing to create some more fires. So hopefully they know what they're doing there, and we can all keep safe. 73 from the Sand Hills of North Carolina, I think is the way he puts it. And he says Halloween, when all the Christmas decorations go up. Yeah, if you go to Costco, Costco is already selling Christmas cookies, and they're flying out the door. Let's go up to SWL 195, the Course Gold Starliner.
195 checking in, Dennis. Yeah, we're getting ready for the power shutdown.
Yeah, we got a note. We're on their little list at the radio station because the transmitter's up there just in Meadow Lakes north of Auberry. So sometime tomorrow, maybe, and it could be 24 hours depending on what happens, or it could be not at all. So time to, I guess, stoke up the fireplace and turn on the generator. You're sounding great, by the way.
Thank you, Dennis. Yeah, we got a notification that it's going to be from 9 tomorrow night till 12 o'clock on Tuesday.
Oh, all the way to Tuesday. Okay, I'd have to check my email. There's a big, giant generator up at the FM radio station building that runs a couple of TV stations and some other things. Last time that the power got shut off during the Creek fire, the generator did not start, but I think it's been serviced and full of diesel fuel and should last. We will see what happens. But we are going strong here tonight in the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you, Dennis. Yeah, we'll have to go to 12 volts here. Take care. Have a good evening.
Over to SWL 226. I'm going to get Jeff checked in. He was on last night in the ditch banks. I can just barely hear him on sideband. Jeff, if you are listening, we've got you checked in. Anybody else? Anybody I missed or you just popped in? OTR is listening. All right, sounds kind of quiet. I'm going to jump over and get the tubes all ready to go. We'll be back in just a moment for your radio check-ins here on the Old Tube Radio Network. And it's almost the top of it. I missed my clock. I'm going to have to find out what I did with it. I keep looking at it. It's just a dark hole. But it's almost 9 o'clock. Back in a moment with your Old Tube Radio Network and the reason that we are here for 35 years, and that is those glow-in-the-dark radios. Back in a bit. And there's 79. Philip, I see you. I see you on the board. Did I get you checked in? No, I did not. I've got you checked in now. I think we're up and running. This is a note that you are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
A big crowd in the green room tonight. It must be the popcorn and the pizza and all the good stuff. The Old Tube Radio Network, real radio's glowing in the dark. Originating on your RF frequencies of 27085 in the Central Valley of California. Everywhere else on your Universal Media Net web at oldtuberadio.net and the YouTube video, which I think is up and running. Hello to all of you wherever you are. We are searching, listening, and perhaps more than likely talking with the classic tube radios tonight from 1958 to 1978. That's the Class D radio service as it was with the glow-in-the-dark radios, which you will be hearing tonight. I am decked out. Let me get the camera. Decked out in the official Old Tube Radio style stuff. Look at the old advertisements. Whenever they show a radio operator back in the day, they're always wearing a suit and tie. Maybe that's the way it was supposed to be. Also, I've got the pocket protector on tonight, and if I can do this without breaking the foot switch, we are going to be sponsored tonight. I'm going to be putting a pin in the pocket protector. Brill's TV service from Bismarck, North Dakota. There's a phone number here. It's valid. I won't give it out. And they're located at 1110 and a half North 14th Street, 1110 and a half. So I don't know if that means they're upstairs or downstairs. We used to have, my dad built my brothers and myself a little, like a clubhouse fort in the backyard. Long time ago. It was big. You walk inside, it had door and window and all that stuff, and it was a half. Our address was 1013, and I remember he put 1013 and a half. So maybe Brill's TV service is out in the clubhouse. Let me show it to you. Let me see if I can do this. There you go, Brill's TV service. And that is going in the old pocket protector tonight. Our sponsor tonight. Thanks, Brill's. I wonder if you could, at the TV service, I bet they had. I bet she had. Whoever was Brill's TV service, you can pretty much count on that they had a CB radio in one of the trucks. Doing it the way it was supposed to. You know, Unit 1 to Unit 2, pick up another 6 GL6 GT and ship it over here. Where are we going? I'm going to stop talking so we can check in radios. OTR listening.
135.
45.
All right, I've got 135. Step up into the air chair, Cliff. You'll be number 1. 45, Paul, you'll be number 2. And there was one more station in there. I am listening.
25.
And 25. All right. That is Jerry, who will be radio number 3. There is good stuff happening in the green room tonight. So those of you who can partake, just remember, keep an ear out on the monitor, on the studio monitors when it's your time, because I know you'll be having too much fun. Okay, the first item of interest here is Cliff, who is somewhere, I think, in the Radio Cabana tonight. Is that correct? Over.
Yes, sir, it is. I am outside in the chilly cold Radio CB Cabana.
I don't have my indoor-outdoor temperature, but yeah, when the sun goes down now, it does get cold. Not as cold as it is for some of our listeners in Chicago and Cheyenne and Idaho, but you know, we're on the West Coast. We complain when it gets when it gets 60 degrees, but for a good reason. Tell me about the radio. It sounds interesting. Over.
Okay, I'll do that. Yes, that's WR 135 here on the from the Allied Radio Corporation in Chicago, Illinois. This is the model C22, that's Charlie-22, Citizens Band transceiver. Back to you.
All right, C-22 Citizen Band transceiver, and that's from Allied. I'm looking to see if I have a picture of said item. I'm seeing a lot of A numbers and KG numbers and a C-27, so I'll have to see if I can grab a picture of it because it sounds interesting.
Well, it should be there. I've seen it before. There is a picture. My picture of my particular radio should be in there somewhere. Maybe it's under a different listing. I don't know. But it's the night. Maybe it's under night. Because it is the Circle K Night C-22. Let's see, 5 channels. Transmit and receive crystal controlled. 4. The mode I'm in now is 5 channels. Same 5 channels, incidentally. Transmit only with a VFO type tuner for the receive.
Cool. Yeah, it's there. It's under night. I had to flip the Rolodex. I'm just going through the little card Rolodex here. So sometimes it takes a while, and they come off. They're on those little rings. If you go too fast, they fall off the rings, and I got a big mess on the floor. All right, there it is. This is interesting. I like this radio. It looks like it has some type of a luminescent panel on the control there. Back to you.
Oh yeah, it's one of the reasons I got it. It is the front panel is definitely unique. It's got a blue, blue-eyed metal in the back, and then the 2 light bulbs, one on either side, kind of shoot up in between the plastic panel and the blue panel, and it illuminates the words, the volume, channel, and tuning. So yeah, that whole front panel glows, and it is kind of cool looking. That's one of the things I've always loved about it. Standard hardwired into the radio plastic night microphone. I'm not sure who made these. It doesn't say on the mic, but it does say night, and it has a Circle K. And it's not, obviously, I'm sure you can tell, it's non-amplified plastic handheld microphone.
There is a shot of the microphonium. Let me see if I can pan the shot down. There it is. It gives it that classic tube radio sound. You are certainly not 100% modulation, but the modulation is certainly good enough to be heard correctly and adequately here on the old tube radio network, talking to Cliff, known as the Green Arrow, on his Night KNI GHTC 22. 4 channels on the crystal-controlled transmit and continuously tunable on the receiver. Doesn't say that it's got any mobile cords. It says 115-volt AC, so I'm thinking that there's no way to run that mobile with the DC cord. But I see the tune meter. It looks like the channel selector, the spacing is really tight together, but I'm thinking that when you turn that knob, is it geared a little bit, that it doesn't, as you turn, you have to do multiple turns to get the little red dial to go, or do you really have to finesse that thing?
Well, kind of yes and no. Yes, it is. I think it's a 10-to-1 ratio on the knob. But you still, like you said, it's kind of tight. The actual position on here is just past the 12. And there's no space in between the 12 and the 15. So yeah, just kind of dial it in until you get people where you want them. Let's see, that said, I've got, I'm on channel 3 on this one. That's the channel 11. Channel 1 is channel 2, channel 2 is channel 9, channel 3 is channel 11, channel 4 is 14, and channel 5 is channel 21. And I'm listening to you on a much better speaker. The front firing speakers really sound pretty terrible on this radio. So I've got a Helicrafters R47 external speaker hooked up to it. You guys, everybody sounds just great on it.
And R47 is a nice speaker and sort of hard to come by these days. Nice big speaker. That's something that, especially for AM, is a good thing to do, is grab some type of an external speaker, and you will hear the marvelous AM radio sound. Radio number 1 And Chrissy points out, yes, we did have another radio checking in, and that was the Robin T123. I'll probably add those in at the end. Sometimes if they pre-check in, I will add them in at the end, but I will not leave them off the list for sure. 9:04 is the time. The night C22. It's been a long time since you've checked this one in.
I guess it has. I was having trouble getting it going earlier, but it finally settled down, and it seems to be working okay now. It's receiving very well, and hopefully it's transmitting reasonably well. Thanks for letting me fire this thing up and check it in.
Very good. And one of our SWLs is saying, if you could install that on your bicycle and have the very long power cord, you would be indeed the night rider. And that's KNIGHT, of course. We're just saying, sometimes you have to do these things. You could probably do that. Bicycle mobile, little bungee cords. You never know. The night C22, sounding good.
Yeah, and these were kits, and they had two versions of this. So this, of course, is the AC only type one, but they also had a mobile version. They look identical. You just evidently wired it up differently. And so, there's pictures of it in the catalogs and everything. You see, honey, bring home a loaf of bread. And channel 1 to channel 2, that kind of thing. But this is the base-only version.
Indeed. Probably some 6 and 12-volt tubes, which run correctly off of the 12-volt once you get the vibrating thing in there and the stuff it needs to do. All right, thanks for getting us started off here on the tube radio, something that we don't see many of, and I really like the lights in there. I suppose you could retrofit those with LEDs. It probably wouldn't look the same, change the color a little bit or whatever, but that looks, it definitely looks like it is the original issue from Night. Very good. Thanks for bringing it by.
Thank you. See you next time.
See you next time on the old Tube Radio Network. Going on to radio number 2. According to my list, that will be Paul up in North Fork at about 9:13 plus or minus. I don't have my good UTC clock in front of me. Hello, Paul.
Quick question.
And hello, Paul. Hang on just a second, Paul. Who's the quick question? Over.
C135 again, real quick.
Yeah, hang on just a second, Paul. Go ahead, Cliff.
Yeah, are we going to be doing this on Halloween?
As far as I know, we will be doing this on Halloween.
Okay, good. I'll bring by the magic guy. See ya.
Mine, please.
All right, thanks, Cliff. And now back over to Paul. Can you hear me, Paul? Over. Hello, Paul 45. This is the Old Tube Radio Network. Over.
Yeah, I have a problem here, trying to work it out right now. If you get Jerry, take my place, I should have it fixed by the time he gets through.
Hey, not a problem. I know he is monitoring over in the green room, so go ahead and fix in and jump in anytime you are ready. So let's head over to Madera Heights. Hello, Jerry, over.
Dennis, 25, checking in on the sonar FS3023, 23 channel radio, talking on a big old fat non-powered sonar microphone. Anyway, back to you, Dennis.
Back to me. Let's see if I've got the FS3023 in the Rolodex. I believe I do. Boy, that's got great audio from, and we're not all that close. Good signal and good audio. Everett used to call this the baby buddy, the baby Yaesu, I think.
Yeah, it actually is very similar color. I have the 101B just not too far away on the bench, and same colors and kind of similar design. So, but yeah, Everett was right and correct in saying that. So anyway, that's about it. The only, I have an FS3023 in And the only difference that I can see in the radio is the A&L switch is in the front on the 3023 versus on the back of the radio on the FS23. So other than that, I think everything's pretty much the same. Now, I may stand corrected on the tube complement or how it was constructed, but they almost look identical. Anyway, back to you, Dennis.
Okay, let me make sure I've got the right radio I'm showing. I'm looking at the FS3023. That's what you are on, right?
That is correct. And it has the A&L switch on the lower right-hand side on the face. However, the FS23 has the A&L switch on the rear. That was all I was trying to say, Dennis.
Okay, and I'm just zoomed in and I can see the A&L switch. Yeah, kind of small, but they found a place in the radio real estate to add it in there. You are radio number 2 at 913, the Sonar FS3023, adding to our tube complement tonight. And Sonar's always got good audio. I think they used was it 6BQ5 or 6AQ5, something. It was like a push-pull audio thing. So it's very hard not to sound good on a Sonar, even if you're not using their great supplied super large microphonium. Thanks for bringing it by.
Hey, not a problem. Thanks for checking it in, Dennis. And Chris, and hopefully Paul's got his issues figured out. And back to you.
All right, very good. We'll check in with Paul. And Chris, I saw your comment about the phone book. Actually, it's phone books, and that's what the problem was. Because phone books are not like they used to be. You know, phone books used to be these big, huge devices, these big, huge things that, you know, you'd try and rip in half and you couldn't. Now even I can rip them in half. They're about a quarter of the size. So I had 2 of them, and I put them together to make a full-sized phone book. And what happened is, you get that, you know, now they start sliding, which was a bad idea. I should only have one phone book. But the problem is, it doesn't raise the switch up high enough. So I just have to be careful on the amount of pressure I'm putting on the switch so that it doesn't slide the phone books apart. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And you know, if Net Control is having to put his foot switch on phone books to get on the air, that there is something not good going on at all. Let's try Paul. Hello, 45 over.
Well, do you hear me? We're back to business again. I don't know for how long. Do you hear me?
I hear you over.
Good. All right. We're going for the moment. You got to patch things up every once in a while. Anyway, I'd like to check in my Robin T240D.
Hey, the Yellowbird. It's been a while since we've heard the 40 channel Robin. It definitely has the good Robin audio. There's a little strange oscillation noise coming through, but it's not. I can still hear you just fine. But it's something I haven't quite heard before. It almost sounds like another carrier on with you, but I don't think that's the case. The 240D Executive, take a transmission, and we'll see how it's working.
Okay. Well, I don't have the microphone made for this radio, but I'm talking on a Turner Expander 500 with a dynamite cartridge in the thing. So it's quite a big microphone. I kind of like playing with it. Neat. Thank you.
It's got plenty of audio, and it's there when you're not talking, so it's hard to tell if it's coming from the circuitry or not. You'd probably have to turn the mic gain on the microphone all the way down, but don't fool with that. I can hear you just fine. If you listen or watch or listen to the audio playback, you will hear it. It reminds me of when there's another station on, and you have the carrier fighting with each other off frequency a little bit, but I don't think that's the case. Radio number 3, the Robin 240D, the Yellowbird. I've got a couple of pictures. Let me swap to a full-on front view. That's got the Turner Plus 2 microphonium, but I'm assuming yours has all the yellow colors and the yellow knob inserts. Over.
Yeah, it's got all the bells and whistles in the thing. It's a direct quality radio, I'll tell you that. It's in SAMS 187, manufacture date 1978. And of course, manufactured by Panasonic in Japan. They did a beautiful job on these radios. The outside radio is much the same as the Robin 123.
There's 817 Mobile. We're chatting with Paul. He's up in North Fork, California. And he's on the 40 channel Robin T240D Yellowbird. I heard you all the way through that, Paul, so it is working good. Not sure what the little chirp is going, but maybe it's the Robin. Maybe it's the Robin inside the radio. Over.
Okay. Yeah, the fellow from Hawaii is in there. He sounded real good. So I hope he's hearing me down there. Okay, well, this is brilliant. This is a hybrid. Got circuit boards in the thing, and boy, I got nice Hawaii in there. I'll be standing by him too. But definitely a hybrid, that's you.
Sounding good on the radio. Glad you got everything working. Put it down for radio number 3, the Robin T240D. So thanks for checking in here on the Old Tube Radio Network.
Who's out there around the mini-gas, 817 Mobile God?
Thanks for checking in on the Old Tube Radio Network, Paul.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Problems in there again. So anyway, we'll get that one warmed up. Thanks, Dennis.
Okay, yeah, we're probably going to have a little bit of Hawaii as the gray line has passed us by here at about 9:20, but the gray line happening there in Hawaii, so we'll hear some stations. Just a reminder, you're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio's Glowing in the Dark. We are in Central California, also streaming live at oldtuberadio.net. And the YouTube video, the Jingle Singers are ready to go. I see that looks like X4000 in the Chili Cabana frequency is checking in. We will get to X4000 on, but let's go over to the Jingle Singers as they remind everybody the Saturday night place to be here at the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you, wherever you are. The friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
And we're looking for radio number 4.
Number 7? I guess I got no condition out there now. I got no condition around the mini-gas.
And number 7 for Radio 4 and the Mini-Grass. I have a feeling I won't have any problem hearing you. Over.
Ooh, well, we'll see. This radio may make some strange sounds. Anyway, this is a Robin T123 No B. It has the winking and blinking modulation eye. So yeah, there you and ID 104 attached. It was not my doing, but it's the way I got the radio.
Right, another Robin singing, and now Paul's Robin was chirping a little bit. Yours is got more of a growl to it occasionally. And there is some green on this radio. I think there's a lot of green on this radio. Just the way it's pictured here, you don't see the cabinet. You see the front surround. Of course, the channel selector and the Magic Eye tube help out as well. It's still working. I don't know if you hear that, if you can hear that internally into the radio when it starts doing the little growling thing or not. It might be a tube that's doing something. Over.
Yeah, well, actually, I see it on the winking and blinking eye. When I see it locked when I'm not talking, yeah, I know that it's doing some weird stuff. The cabinet's green, and of course the channel selector is green. The modulation light, when it comes together, is green, so plenty of green for Chrissy.
Now, she is decked out in all green tonight, so the color-coordinated radio for her certainly would be a Robin. Talk to Dwayne about that. Talk to 30 about perhaps doing a little color coordination with your current wardrobe. The Robin T123, produced by Robin up till about 1972 when the T123B came out in the Panasonic chassis. This radio will go 12-volt DC or 115-volt AC if you got the right cord. You can see more of it or find out more about it on Sam's PhotoFax 35, page 95. Over to you for a transmission, and thanks for bringing it by. Sounding good through the Mini-Grass.
Well, there we go. Yeah, nice little radio. Right there at the T123, it has right underneath it base/mobile. If I had the cord on it, I could run the darn thing in the mobile. Although it does get a little warm, not as much as the 123B. That one you could cook on. What that will bring you another radio.
Another radio is good. The old Tube Radio Network, and Chrissy said, tape the phone books together. What I'm going to do, I said this last week, there's a little pin. I have to have a special tool to pull this pin to get the foot switch apart and see if there's something that is actually coming loose or there's an adjustment I can make on the amount of throw on the switch, which I think is my problem. And then if I do that, hopefully I won't need any Velcro or duct tape. But I have both. I have the Gorilla Tape, and I have some really, really good industrial strength Velcro. So that will be a plan B. SWL10 says, thank you, SWL7, and OTR is looking for radio number 5.
Can I be number 5?
Hey, you can be number 5 over. That is Christopher.
That it is. All right, Dennis, here's me on my general radio telephone, my Super MC11A, 24-channel version of this here with little old man in the wheelchair up here holding his IV, and we're running this here with a handheld stock microphone. Over.
Stock audio is sounding good. If the mini grasses out there, they will definitely be hearing Central California on the general radio telephone Super MC11A. I'm curious, is Saturday evenings the only time when that radio actually comes out to play?
Yes, it is. At rest of time, it's grounded for good looks.
All right, well, it's like a classic car. Sometimes you only pull out, the Pontiac GTO on Friday nights to go pick up a hamburger or something. So Saturday evenings is our chance to pull the rigs out of the garage, as it were, drive them around the block, honk the horn, kick the tires. Well, don't kick the tires. Maybe twist the tubes a little bit, and it works. It seems to be happy that way.
Well, don't forget the Buicks. You copy that, Dennis? I said, don't forget the Buicks.
Yeah, I copy that. You sound like a different person when the microphone doesn't key down all the way. But I don't kick the tires on the Buicks because they'll explode.
Oh yeah, they're old, huh?
They are really old. In fact, on the station wagon, I went the other day, and there was a flat, and the tire just flat out, the tread came off. The tread separated. It's just sitting too long. I try to remember when I got those tires on the thing. I think if they were Pep Boys specials from about 25 years ago. So it's probably good that it did that while it was not in motion.
Well, you mean that thing's still sitting in the driveway, huh?
Well, it is behind a gate somewhere.
Okay. Well, one of these days you got to make that thing start running and make it feel good.
Oh, it runs, but it's not ready for prime time. Just to reiterate, we are listening to the Super MC11A from General Radio Telephone using the stock microphonium. No amplification necessary. I really think putting an amplified microphone on that would just ruin it. It would probably make a different sound, different frequencies amplified, and you'd have to turn it all the way down to get the same sound. So you're doing good to running the stock radio.
Yeah, I have no desire to do that, so I'm just leaving it just as it is. The way it came out of the package, I guess.
Okay, and then sometimes I think the contact probably doesn't kick in all the way and you get the lower audio.
Oh, is that what happened or what?
No, you sound good that time. The transmission before that. You can probably see it on... what indicates modulation on that? I don't see a light, so I'm assuming when you transmit, the meter is somewhere showing RF and maybe a little bit of modulation wiggle.
Well, yeah, it keys up over here. What is that? Look on the bottom. Well, up on the top, looking up on the top scale, it goes, for what you're reading when people hit you, it's up there at the top. Just to the right of 10S units, and every once in a while it hit the solid 30, but on here it shows I'm doing 4 watts swing to 5. I'm looking at my PEP reader up here. It goes 4 to 14, 15.
I was going to say, that is, you can tell from the sound, you're definitely 100% modulated, so 4 on a PEP meter should take you to 15 or 16, no problem. All the meters are calibrated different. And if you had, like we do here, an REA meter, it would probably just be going off the scale. I don't know if you'd be getting some negative mod or not, but it's good all the way around. One of our OTR favorites from the SWLs for sure. Radio number 5, the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A from beautiful downtown Burbank. That is a, believe it or not, that's a 9-tube radio, and the secret tube is that one that General Radio Telephone put in, the ECLL 800 on the phase and the modulator, phase inverter modulator output. That really made a difference when they popped those in there. Of course, the 12AX7 on the mic preamp is also a good thing. Back to you, and thanks for bringing it by.
Well, you know, one thing I know about this, I know when it's working. I smell it.
Yeah. That is the other aspect that we as SWLs don't get to enjoy because we're not driving that radio, is the sort of the burning of the dust off the tubes.
Oh, and it does burn the dust off every once in a while. But no, I firing this thing up every week, but still, you can smell the heat. I mean, I can put my hand on top of it and feel the heat. I've had it so hot at times, I did not want to touch it.
Well, probably not a good thing. I think a couple of weeks ago, there was talk of making the OTR cookbook, and what radios, depending on how hot they get, would be good for preparing certain meals. So it sounds like that one, if you're really going to town on it, you might be able to do a nice porterhouse steak on the top.
Yeah, if you have an old cinnamon roll, you want to sit up there and, just make it warm. You can sit up there, put a little aluminum foil underneath if you don't want nothing to drip down inside, but put that aluminum foil up there, sit that puppy up there, and 10 minutes before that, it'll be hot. Melts the butter, everything.
It's a good thing. All right, I think the radio wants to take a break there, so we will say 73. Thanks for radio number 5, and as always, General Radio Telephone Super MC11A doing what it was supposed to do back in 1971.
All right, Dennis. Yeah, come on, radio. Hello. Hello, there it goes. All right, Dennis, I'm going to get out of here while it's still working. Hello, stop that. I'm out. There it goes. Yeah, that's it. Hello. We're out.
All right, yeah, give that thing a test. See what it's doing. It works. Bring it back next week, and it'll be doing just fine. And I did hear 25 over.
Roger. Real quickly, another sonar. If you'd like to check in, Dennis.
I have radio space number 6 reserved for you. I see that you have brought some pizza and popcorn and a beverage from the green room. Have set it down so you can key the microphonium of the sonar. Tell us which one you've got.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the Jingle Singers for their hospitality, and the wine. The champagne is flowing, and beer and pizza is excellent. The beer's ice cold, by the way. Anyway, 25 checking in on a Sonar Model G, 8-channel transmit to a crystal control with the VFO. And actually, I tuned you in using the XTAL, which is the spot button, and I'm actually listening to you on the VFO side, not the crystal, which is kind of cool. And that's about it, man. A simple little radio, volume squelch, tuner, and then, of course, the switch between VFO and crystal control on the receive. Anyway, back to you, Dennis.
Back to me in the studio. There is the radio for those who are tuned in or looking at the page that's got the video. 4 knobs across the bottom. One of them is a tunable receive. Nice big S meter. It's sort of a black on white, very different. A white lettering with a black background. And then you've got the 8-channel selector. Also interesting enough is there's lighting under a little cowl, I guess, on the top front part of the radio that shines down onto the front face of the radio. So that is a helpful thing. This is the picture I'm looking for. It has the super giant element Sonar microphones. So that's I think that was typical for the Sonar radios to have a microphone like that, and you really don't need an amplified microphone. Just like the general radio telephone, you don't need one with a Sonar. I don't know if it would help you out at all. And you can thank the Ohio crew, Bob and Steve. Bob always is good about stocking up, making sure that the green room is ready to go for our tube radio operators and SWLs. I think that's one reason why we actually get check-ins. They come for the popcorn, but they stay for the radios.
Well, thank you, Bob, for the hospitality and the cold beer and the pizza. So, anyway, glad, by the way, the meter on this thing is working, swinging the right way. So, anyway, everything's working on this little thing. By the way, the channels I have, Crystal, I have 19.1, 3, no. I can't read it. It's in those little punch ribbon things that you used to use. 11, 15, 14, 16, and 23. By golly, this has channel 23 in it. So, but anyway, most importantly, it has channel 11, 27.085. Anyway, back to you, Dennis.
As most of all the old radios did, that might have been the stock frequency if you got a Crystal with it. That's got the full complement. So at $5, $6 a pop on the Crystals times, $8, we got $50 worth of Crystals in there back when they were, whatever they were. I don't know what you pay for them now. I don't think you can even find them unless you go to eBay. I noticed 19 is always a popular channel, 22, 23, 11, of course, and then 12 and 13. And part of that goes back to the FCC designation of stations, talking to stations within your call and talking to stations of different calls. There were specific channels which you could do that. So I think the 11, 12, 13 were for talking to other stations or the other calls, and then everything else was your Unit 1 to Unit 2. Radio number 6 is the Sonar Model G. We're listening to it from Jerry's collection, and it always sounds good. Thanks for bringing it by.
Number 7.
And number 7, step up to the air chair. You'll be Radio 7. I lost track of where I was. But before we do that, let's go to the Jingle Singers. And, of course, they will remind us of the reason that we all love to do this on a Saturday night.
What are the magic numbers?
27.085 megahertz, channel 11.
Are the magic letters?
OTR.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Radio Magic.
Old Tube Radio.
For you.
A little radio magic from the Old Tube Radio Network here in Central California, 27085, our frequency of choice. Channel 11. And everywhere else on your Universal Media Network, thanks for listening in. And we've got radio number 7. Hello, Ed.
And hello, Dennis and OTR. This is the Tram, TR27E, 23 channel transmit and receive. Big radio.
This is Big Radio. Let me go to the Rolodex. I know I do have a picture of that. And the good thing is, it is a picture of the radio on which you were talking from your collection. So let me pop it up on the screen. You know when you've got an S meter that size, which is probably the size of some of the radios today, that you have to have a big cabinet, a big piece of real estate to put it in there. Also, you know what? The speaker grill is even big on that radio. Over.
Yes, that speaker is a 5x7. So yeah, nothing small on this at all. The S meter is just a little over 3 inches tall and 3.5 inches wide. So even a blind guy, getting old, don't even have to put my glasses on. I can see that thing.
That's a nice thing. I remember the day when I didn't need glasses to see the to see the S meter. Tram PR27. That was the last in the Tram 27 series and 70 series that were all like that, and they had a mobile version. I think it's like a couple inches smaller, so you could fit it under the dash, under the metal dashboard in the Ford Fairlane. 1963 is what I'm showing. I was looking to see if I have a Sam's Photo Fax. I know it's in there, but I don't have the books. Still running good with the Electro Voice microphone.
Yes, the Electro Voice 638 microphone. Got a good deal on that. So they tend to draw a pretty good price. The Drake and Collins guys and other ham radio operators tend to like these things.
I think they were impedance matched correctly. Now, there's a radio with that microphone. If you had something like a Demco modulator, so you keep that microphone, run into the modulator, and then the modulator into the tram, that could be an exciting proposition. Because right now it's good rag chew type audio. But I know you're just loafing along with that tram, so you can get some DX mode about it. So if you ever run across a Demco modulator, make that the first radio you try it on. I think that's the one it would sing, especially with that with the Electro Voice microphone. Radio 7 sounding good on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. Back to you.
Well, there we have a little button in the back that does strap. This is pushing now just a tiny bit more, so it can push a little bit more on its own.
Looks good. I just popped over to the S meter. I wasn't, I would have to go back and look. I don't know where you were before that. If it was enough to get another, 3 or 6 dB boost that would put another little bar. I need to have an analog S meter on my display here. That would be cool. Sounding good. Thanks for bringing by the tram, and I do see it is the proper color, especially for some of our listeners tonight.
Oh, there you go. Oh, with that one, we'll let you get back to some more radios.
And we do like radios on the Old Tube Radio Network.
45.
And hello, Paul. I hear you beaconing into Midtown Fresno. Over.
Yeah, we're back running about 100%, I think, at least for the moment. I'd like to check in my other. It's a T-Berry T 23-channel radio.
T-Berry made a 23-channel and a 40-channel. I think they were the same Panasonic chassis that the Robins used. Let me see if I've got the 23-channel in the Rolodex here, and I do. Says it is from your collection, so let's click over to that. This one's showing channel 23, but I know you are on channel 11. Over.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, you were right on that last, for sure about it. Yeah, no, this is a neat radio. I'll tell you what, it's got a vehicle tunable on the channel, just like the channel's good, and it's touchy. It gets off a little bit, it lets you know, it kind of squirrels at you. Very interesting radio. Very nice radio, very quality radio. Built, of course, in Japan. Back to you.
Panasonic chassis. I think they were plate modulated. That is a 10-tube radio. I wonder if that's the same as the B or the C. Looks like all 6-volt tubes, 6BQ5 in the final, 12AX7 in the audio, output modulator 6GH6 doing a good job. There is range gain. That's got the range gain. I guess that is for your audio. I'm not sure.
That is correct. Yeah, I think got a lot of goodies on it. I think even I'll get into the back of the thing. It's interesting even more on the front. It's got a place for set tuning, plate tuning, CBI tuning, plate, load and plate. It's unbelievable. You do everything from outside the radio. They don't let you do that, or they didn't let you do that after that. But no, it's a neat radio. Thank you.
Yeah, it makes it safer. Maybe they knew people were going to be peeking and tweaking, as they say, And if you give the controls on the outside of the radio, you don't have to take the cover off and expose yourself to the high voltage. So that was actually pretty smart. The FCC should have encouraged that, probably. They would encourage stuff like that so that you don't have to pull the radio apart. Pretty cool. I don't have a rear view of that radio, but I do have the front side. And it was one of the more deluxe front ends. It was like the Robin, where they give you lots of pilot lights and the range control and other things. Also, they fine-tune. It's doing a good job. It is our Radio 8 tonight, and a good choice. We haven't heard the T-Berries in a while.
Yeah, I'm proud of the radio. Yeah, it's really, as you can see by the picture, it's really clean. Just like mint, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, the microphone I'm using is the TMD 107 microphone thing, aesthetic. And I think it makes it pretty mellow. I think it's pretty mellow right now. Thanks for checking in, Dennis.
Thanks for bringing it by. And all our talk about cooking with your tube radio, they're giving recipes out on the chat side of the video here. It's making me hungry just looking at how to make stuff. Now, whether it will cook properly, that is something that you've got to choose the right radio to do, no doubt. Choosing the right jingle singers, that's something we do quite often here at the Old Tube Radio Network, mainly because we only have one set of them. No recipe necessary. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you, wherever you are. The friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
And we are listening for Radio 9.
25.
Number 7.
All right, we've got two. Ed, jump into the green room. We will catch you for Radio 10. Radio 9 is going to be Jerry with a selection that you're sure to enjoy. Hello, Radio.
Hello, Dennis. I'm glad this thing is working. Anyway, this is another sonar. The sonar Model E, as in Edward. And it has some distinguishing differences between the Model G. It has first of all, the speaker right in the front of the face. And, of course, the green power light is on. And then, of course, when you transmit, the red light just above it, which is working, illuminates. So it still has the VFO tuner on it, just like the Model G, but it doesn't have the spot button. So you have to just dial it in, I guess, by ear. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same as the Model G. Talking on a non-powered sonar, big old bread box microphone. Anyway, back to you.
And that radio is loud. It's rivaling the General Radio Telephone Super MC 11A for audio. And I think out of all your sonars, that is probably the loudest one. And I think that is the oldest of the three that you have checked in tonight, the Model E. If we go chronologically by alphabets and by numbers. Looking at the lights, let me go to a more close-up thing. This is from Cliff's collection. Do you have the knobs we're showing here, and I'm assuming they're the original knobs, they look like they have a little X or something in the insert on the knobs, and they're knurled. They got the little edges on them. Over.
No, the four knobs, just like the Model G, at least this one, and it's volume, and then squelch, and then the VFO tuning, and then the one on the lower right would be from the crystal to the VFO tuning, and then the 8-channel selector. That's all I have, Dennis.
Okay, and that's good. The complement is good. How about the physical makeup of the knobs? Is there, if you look into the center of the circle on the knob, is it like a little X in there?
Roger. Yeah, and thanks for pointing that out. The other sonar didn't have that. So yeah, they all have X's. Reminds me when my dogs take a nap, they have X's for eyes. Over.
Exactly. And the reason I asked that looks like the original knobs that come with the radio. It's so hard, these old radios, to find something that's got the full original knob complement. And they're really part of the art of that radio with the round speaker and the little X designs in the knobs. They didn't have to do that. The other thing, it's got the little pointers on the edge, and then it's got the ridges and the knurled parts of it. The only reason I say that, because I can remember having radios like that and having to take a toothbrush and clean out and scrape out the dirt out of the edges of those knobs. That's the only thing I don't like about them, but you can clean them up and they look great.
Yeah, I have every one of them, all 5 of them. So yeah, and they're white. They're kind of they're kind of a tannish white. They probably were white at one day, but this is an old radio. By the way, the crystal complement on this is 2, 9, 10, 11, 21, 19, 16, and 13. So there you go. Anyway, thanks for checking it in, Dennis. Back to you.
Thanks for bringing it by. That's got some very loud audio, and I just want to remind everybody that Jerry is not that close. I don't know. What would you say? Are we 15 miles apart, possibly?
I don't know if we're that far. Maybe 8 miles, 10 miles, something like that.
Yeah, as I guess as the RF flies, if you're having to drive there and turning left and turning right, it might end up to be that. I'm playing with my pocket protector. I'm putting it on the wrong way here. This is kind of a hard thing to do. There it is. All right, I got the pocket protector in. We've got the picture of the Sonar Model E as in Echo, and it certainly sounds good. Thanks for bringing it by.
Thanks, Dennis.
I wonder if you could get those at Brill's TV. Brill's TV are sponsored tonight in the pocket protector, and of course they are located at 1110.5 North 14th Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. Brill's TV service sponsoring us tonight in the old Tube Radio Network. Radio 10 is stepping up into the air chair. Mr. Ed has the microphonium to the radio that we will find out what it is right now.
Well, it's a Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB with the Golden Eagle D104 limited edition microphonium,
which matches the photo that I have. Golden Eagle, golden microphonium, and certainly nice sound. Give it a squeeze. Give the microphonium a squeeze and make the on-the-air light let's see, that's on the receiver part light up.
Yes, that it does. It says on the air. In fact, I had to glue that back on and decided to fall on its own one day, but that's the only thing, luckily, that's fallen off the radio. Yes, looks pretty much just like that one there. That one, of course, is from Cliff's collection, and this one's mine.
And that's a good thing. You know, doggone it, I was looking, I moved things around. I had the Browning Golden Eagle badge up here on the table, and then when I started cleaning and moving things, I put it somewhere, and I don't know where it is. I was going to do a visual on that, so we'll just use your great radio audio for that.
Well, good deal. Yes, I've got it on the little ping, the original. I usually don't flip it back there for the excruciatingly long one.
Well, yeah, this is the small ping frequency. Where is the control for that? Obviously, that's an add-on. Is that something that they kind of secret into one of the knobs, or is that a switch somewhere else?
No, it's a little toggle switch in the back.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I guess you could probably figure out how to put it anywhere, but since it's something that you normally would set and forget, or set and then make everyone forget, it works well. Radio number 10 Into the double digits, the Browning Gold Eagle Mark III SSB. Is that the first Browning of the evening? I believe it is, but it is a good one. Thanks for bringing it by.
Oh, and thank you. I'll sit back and take a listen.
And interesting, we had one giant blurb of the mini grass coming in at about 10 dB over S9 for about 5 minutes. Then the frequency has been clear. Of course, that's down here in the flatlands. The stations that are up in the higher altitudes might be hearing a little bit more than we are, but just some interesting conditions. So I was sort of expecting maybe Colorado or Idaho or Oregon to pop in the same way and just be in for about 5 minutes or so. I cannot see my clock. It looks like it's almost 10 o'clock. Yeah, it's almost 10 o'clock. So we'll see if we get any DX before we jump out. But of course, that's okay. If we don't, we're here to check in radios, and we're looking for Radio 11 if you've got the time.
How about this one?
I think that one would work. Over.
Okay. This is the Buddy Bass by Autronics, and I'm trying to think where this one's from. Autronics, Pasadena, California.
Well, I've got an ad. See, on my Rolodex, they say Buddy Bass Marina, Buddy Bass Autronics. So this is what was in the Rolodex for Buddy Bass Autronics. In your knowledge, is there a difference? And I know that's a generic question. So is there a difference internally, perhaps, or is there a difference externally, perhaps, or is the only difference is we built this one over here, and then we moved 150 miles, and we built this one over here?
Well, there are all kinds of differences. This one was supposedly built in Pasadena. I'm trying to see here if I can get to the back of the radio here. I gotta close the cabinet door. I have cabinets now. Ooh, I gotta move this. Whoops. This one is serial number 435. There we go. 435, and supposedly they made about 500 or 600 or something, I don't know, of these things. There were several different transmitters, but the receivers are somewhat similar. Do you have the picture up there?
The picture I have is of an ad. So it's showing the original on-the-air speaker and the transmitter and the receiver, talking about a 5-tube transmitter with a 2E226 final. Receive has 12 tubes, 17-tube performance. So that's actually, 17 tubes together. And I do have, I don't know which picture I should show. I do have the one that's actually from your collection, which I could pop up as well. Over.
Okay, pop that one up. Is that the one with the big speaker?
That is correct when I find it here in the Rolodex.
Okay. That's the one that you're looking at. Well, yeah, you're looking at it. That's what I'm talking about. This one was an eBay purchase. Apparently nobody wanted it. I think I bid against 2 or 3 people. He said he thought the transmitter worked, but the receiver definitely didn't. The speaker was torn up in the big giant box, and the speaker grill was all, speaker cloth was all messed up. Well, excuse me, I got it anyway, and replaced the speaker, cloth. The on-the-air light is from the original box. This is not an original Buddy box. This speaker weighs a ton, but sounds great. The transmitter did work, did need a little work. The receiver did not work. They had swapped two tubes. They had just put them in the wrong socket. And when I went to test them individually, they all worked, but then it still didn't work. So I just checked the tube layout, and two were in the wrong spot. I swapped them, and instantly it worked. So it's a deal. I've got a solid custom black D104 on it. The speaker grill, the speaker cloth, silver and black. So it just shows up in the light. It kind of reflects. So it's kind of neat there. Anyway, this is number 459. That's on the receiver. That is on the transmitter, so they match. Of course, the speaker doesn't match because it's the wrong one.
Wonder how hard it is just to find a speaker. And like I said, that sounds like it's a better speaker. However, you're missing the on-the-air thing. And is there, that leads me to the question for the speaker. Is there a separate cable that doesn't look like your typical phono jack or an RCA jack? Because it's also carrying something that's going to trigger the on-the-air light, right?
Roger. Separate cable coming from the receiver. In this one, or in the original speaker, you had a terminal strip type thing, and you tight the wires under two screws on the terminal strip and then the third wire on the ground strip. This one's got the same deal, but it's screwed to the side, the outside side of the speaker box. The original speaker was open in the back, which kind of took away a little bit from, let's say, the roundness or the bassiness of the sound. This one's just got a small hole in the back, and when you guys all talk, it kind of sounds real bold. I mean, it's kind of bassy and sounds kind of big. Everybody's got a big sound. So that's how that works. And in this setup, when you key it up, the receiver shuts off and the speaker shuts off. In the Demco satellite, the silver boxes, the original satellite, when you keyed up, the speaker shut off, but the receiver stayed on. So you slammed the needle over, and the receiver took the signal from the radio, from the transmitter. That was a bad thing about the receivers, and a lot of the parts would go out in them. But in this one, it does shut down the whole receiver.
Which is a good way to do it. I mean, the old style, when you had an amateur radio, separate transmitter and receiver, that had a standby switch. Of course, they used you could use a Dow key relay that is going to switch your antenna between the two, but I don't know if it would actually mute, and it mutes the speaker somehow, but still, I mean, the receiver is still on, but you could physically go to a standby switch. So I'm thinking if they could disconnect the antenna, it wouldn't be so bad, but like you said, it's still going to be close enough to you're connected to slam the meter. So this sounds like a better way to do it. And I never really thought that you would have to do some finagling to get the speaker to work, because you're dealing with a cable that isn't, a standard RCA, and you plug it in, but you have to, unless it gives you a separate external speaker, a headphone jack or something, but it sounds like you have to use the supplied cable and then figure out what are the wires for the speaker and not get it crossed with everything. Your signal looks good on the S meter. I know there's a good amount of forward movement And on the advertisement that we had earlier, they mentioned that it was convertible. That radio was convertible to 10 meters with a 30-watt DC input, which is probably why a lot of 11-meter people liked it, because they would go ahead and beef it up to that 30-watt DC input, but forget to actually convert it over to 10 meters to be the legal thing. But the radio's got a lot of headroom anyway on the output, and it seems like you've got it set on perfectly. I want to take just a second. Richard says Bothell, but he's out there in Everett, Washington, SWL 78, just kicking in. Just wanted to acknowledge him and get him checked in before he has to go. But back to you for another transmission as we are past the 10 o'clock hour, but I want to make sure we get as many radios as possible. So back to you.
Hey, Roger. Well, on this model, the squelch control actually works. They changed the tube in it, rewired it, did the wiring, so you're not putting a whole lot of current through the squelch control, which usually burned up. So they changed the tube and changed some wiring, and I do have that new and improved squelch circuit diagram in my paperwork. So in the other buddies, if I wanted to do it, I could. I've disconnected the squelch control in the buddy that's at the old house, which is the original one that you're used to hearing, because it burned up. So I disconnected it to make sure nothing else would go. This one's got the new and improved, and it does work. So that's good. Now, in the Demco satellite, if I change the relay in it and put a relay in with another set of contacts, I could disconnect the high voltage going to the receiver in a similar fashion that the Browning receivers have done, cutting off the high voltage to a certain set of tubes. And that way I would shut the receiver down, and that way we wouldn't be slamming the receive needle over. I think you can just take the meter switch in the receiver and set it on some other thing, and then it doesn't slam over. I'm not absolutely sure about that. I'd have to look at it. But I don't know why they made that radio that way, because you were slamming the needle over all the time and hurt the receiver and the needle. Okay, back to you.
All right, somebody not thinking. It reminds me on the Browning, when you go to the mod selection, and it just really messes up that poor little meters that slams the case, and you kind of don't want to keep it in the mod position. So I don't know. It's kind of an oversight. One more. I know it's getting late here, but and hello to Smarty Jones, staying up late in New York, listening in tonight. The receiver, I've heard reports that the receiver, the transmitter is great. The receiver it's definitely not a Browning receiver and a tram receiver. It's maybe the weak link. But I see it has, and it reminds me of a tabletop radio, the slide rule horizontal dial across the top, not like something like Browning has where it's rotating on a ring. So how do you like that? I mean, compared to your other receivers with the rotating, do you like that? And how would you rate the receiver? Is it like everybody says, maybe not the best, but it works?
Okay, I will give you a radio operator's term for the receiver. It sucks. Okay? Right now it's kind of okay. There's no noise limiter or anything like that. You have a crystal tune switch, which is good. If you can find get this, 14.775 megahertz receive crystal, which I do have, so thank goodness for this, or for this. I actually have them for the other ones too, but the receiver is super regenerative, okay? That lets you know. when they laid out, now you can see the picture of the receiver. Looks big enough. When they laid out the diagram or the tube layout, they started on the left, put the first tube a little ways in from the left side, then the next tube a little ways in from that, and kept going. Well, when they got to the far right side, they go, well, we need to put two tubes in here. Well, we'll just cram them real close together. So the last two tubes on the upper right are just real close together. So it's kind of like, what'd you guys do that for? Anyway, and then in the middle of the radio, they had all kinds of room. And they could have swung it around and put the tube more toward the middle. But, well, anyway, this is what they did. When you look at it, you go, what'd they do that for? Anyway, it's not the world's greatest receiver. Super retentive. Also, like the Browning receivers, to keep the receive from drifting, they have two capacitors in with the tuning dial and a tuning inductor and an air capacitor, not an air capacitor, ceramic tunable capacitor. Then they have these two fixed capacitors. Ceramic capacitor. Once you set everything, these two things keep it from drifting high and low. Hence the two fixed capacitors, ceramic capacitors, according to Barquette. Now, and they work until they go bad, and then you have a lot of drift. Okay, the receiver at home starts out at channel 17, and after about 45 minutes to a half an hour, it's on 11. This one starts out at 11 and stays on 11.
Well, that's a good thing. Otherwise, you would be wondering, after an old buzzard transmission, why Net Control wasn't talking to you, because they were just, you're not listening to them. At least they're proud of their radio. I notice I hadn't noticed this before, that they even put right on the transmitter, Marina Communications, Los Angeles. So it's right there on the front of the radio.
Okay, on one of mine, it says Marina Communications, Santa Maria, California. Now, that's on the meters and also on the front of the meters on the bottom, and also on the back of transmitter and receiver and speaker box on one of them, and they all match.
That's a good thing. Radio 11, you've been listening to it here, holding up pretty well. The infamous Buddy Bass. This is the TX11B, RC11B, with an added speaker that's not the original one that would have an on-the-air light, but that one is not particularly functioning well. With the transmitter sounding very nice, good quality audio. And if you told me, I always forget, we're showing a D104 microphone in the picture. Are you running a D104?
The exact mic in the picture. That picture is this. The on-the-air light works, and it's the original from the original smaller box. I don't know why the guy took it out and made this big speaker, but somebody did, but they kept the original on-the-air light, and everything functions as it should.
And it sounds good doing it. That is a perfect microphone for that. It's not too bassy, not too trebly. You're not getting a lot of background noise coming in, and it sounds like you do when you're on FM. So, good deal. Radio, what radio are you? Radio 11, the Buddy Bass. This is a Marina. No, this is a Autronics. Is that correct?
This one is Autronic from Pasadena.
And why they put, I don't have a date when these came out. I know the earlier radios used Super Gen receivers, and why they use that. They have advantages, but the disadvantages, especially for 11 meter CB, is when everything's rocking and rolling through all the 23 channels, you get to hear a lot of it, even if you don't want to.
Oh, yeah. From what I understand, from what I've seen in paperwork and on the meters and on the back of the radios, they have Santa Maria, Pasadena, and Culver City. 3 separate areas. Santa Maria on the coast, Pasadena off of 210 in north central Los Angeles basin area, and then Culver City way on the west side there. West side, oh yeah, of LA, so I don't know. But they also made a 23-channel transmitter that Paul had, and we didn't know he was going to get this one when he either bought it from some guy or got it, well, either some guy, or got it off eBay. When it arrived, it had a 6CL6 final and a 6AQ5 modulator. And I'm pretty sure, I know the modulator's correct, 6AQ5, and the power output tube final, I believe 6CL6, not 6CL8, no, 6CL8 small. I believe it's a 6CL6 output tube, and the thing still does around 20 watts out, and we call it a baby buddy, but it's 23 channel, and they did make, I think as you said, a 8 or 12 channel transmitter with the big tubes in it also.
Yeah, you're running conservatively on the audio. I like it. You can really, really push it, like you can push a Browning. But for what we're doing here on the rag chew type audio, it actually is doing good. Question from one of the SWLs on the D104. If you look underneath it, is there a battery on that, or is it just the regular what you say is what you get?
This is a UG8, I believe. Could be a UG9. It's custom painted, all black, everything except the screws and the tighten down ring on the head. A solid black D104, custom painted to kind of match the radio. It's not a flat black, but it's shiny black. And it's what you see in the picture. And it's amplified. Did you say I could turn it up a little bit?
It's okay. You could, but the issue I always have is if you're going to run a microphone and you're going to be 3 feet away, and you don't have noise reduction. Yeah, you can turn it up to get louder, but it's going to bring in background noise. So the best way typically would be to just move closer to the microphone. I think you're good, but you have room on that radio to get louder if you want. But I think the way to do it for that one is just going to be move close to the microphone.
Okay. I turned it up a little bit. Any difference?
A little bit. I don't think you went too far, but that's good. I'm not hearing room echo noise.
I can always do the Harvey range boost.
Yeah, now if you were looking at a scope, you would not like what you were seeing.
Okay, one more radio to go.
All right, very good. That gives us a chance to head over to the Jingle Singers. Let me say we were listening to Radio 11, the Buddy Bass TX11B, RC11B, Harvey on the west side, in the new and improved radio room with that. Let's jump over to the Jingle Singers, and they do what they do as we are coming up on the half hour, I guess, at 10 o'clock Pacific daylight time. Are we going to change over? I guess next week's net is going to be the last one on daylight time, and then we switch over that same evening. So if I can get the Jingle Singers' attention, they are having so much fun over in the green room. But often they just don't pay any attention to me. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You're tuned to
OTR.
your dial reads
Channel 11.
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
And we are standing by for radio number 12.
Number 7.
Number 7. Hey, you are back in the Radio Shack. I thought maybe you had gone into the contesting mode and we wouldn't hear you for 24 hours, but there you are.
There I are, bringing another one of these Screaming Eagles, the Golden Eagle R68 T68.
And screaming it is. When we got what I'll call the short ping with the Mark III, we are making up for it on this one, but it's good. It's giving the namesake, the Golden Eagle, the Screaming Eagle, as it was often called for Radio 12. Back to you.
There we go. And yes, this one has the banana mic, the Browning Laboratories, which was actually made by Electro Voice. So, but yeah, the little darn thing puts out a lot. It really slams the little needle right to the side.
Oh, and it sounds like it's doing that. It just got plenty of audio. The Brownings always do. I was going through some cabinets and drawers here and moving things around and looking for cables, and I came across. I have no idea why I have this because I never had a Browning. It was a very bad condition without the bass, banana-style microphone that was in half. The switch didn't work, and little rubber pieces were coming out of it. I don't know where I got it, but I'll have to check it out and see if the element is okay, or if there's any salvageable parts or something like that. It'd be fun. I could connect it to the audio board, and maybe I could try and make this sound like an eagle somehow. You are doing good on the Radio 12, the R68 T68, the original Golden Eagle.
Well, thanks to Harvey, brought this one back to life. So there we go for another one for OTR. Now I'll sit back and find out what Harvey's got up his sleeves.
Okay, thanks for bringing it by. The Series 1, Series 2, you were running the Series 2. This was produced 1967 to 68 while they were figuring out how to make the Mark II, get some updates. And if you had $400, that's about the price of this. But then you got, everything. You had all channels, S-meter, good-sounding radio, and there was options. You could buy a cabinet, wood cabinet that would surround both pieces, an external speaker with the Golden Eagle flying somewhere across it. But otherwise, I guess you could save your money and get them later. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network, and I think we've got perhaps one more radio standing by.
Well, this one doesn't stand by, it kind of sits.
Well, I thought sitting by was your job.
Oh, yeah. Okay, this is the Browning Golden Beagle R68 T68 Series B. Wait. Model B. MOD-B on the transmitter by Browning Laboratories. With the non-custom D104. Okay. This one has the on-air light on the transmitter and the RF gain control on the receiver. Now, I'm assuming This is the second one that came out because it says Mod B on the transmitter. And the transmitter the other transmitters that I have the spotlight, and I don't believe they say anything on the transmitter because I don't believe they thought they'd have to make a beam on it. And then same thing on the receiver, although this one I don't believe has any mod letter or anything on the back. It just has the RF gain control. The setups that we're most used to seeing, I believe, are the spotlight on transmitter and the 3-position RF gain switch on the receiver. But this one's the other one.
And it sounds good whether it's old or new. Seems like most of the differences are in the receive part of it. I don't know if they'd changed anything in the transmitter. And I wonder if that time in 67 or 68 when Tram and Regency were coming out with the double sideband rigs, and they were at the drawing board trying to figure out how are we going to get sideband in our radios. And of course they had to make a whole separate piece to do that. And as far as I know, when Browning did their sideband adapter, it was single sideband, right? It wasn't double sideband.
Yeah, these are all, well, I think the other ones are all single sideband. With the radio before this, the R27S23, you had an RF gain control. Then they go to the Golden Eagle, which had, I believe, the 3-position switch and the spotlight. And I think people, and they made a ton of those things. And I think maybe people complained. They said, hey, we like the on-air light and we like the RF gain control. So they go, alrighty, and they come out with this, but at the same time somebody said, hey, well, what's this sideband stuff? So they come out with the Mark II, which had a sideband receiver, but just an AM transmitter, and then you had the trans adapter and all that. And then people complained about, you gotta hook up these all boxes here, and then you gotta hook up a trans adapter. Come on, guys. And then they come out with the Mark III AM model. Oh, come on, people. Then they finally got it right with the SSB model.
Hey, if you're going to pay $500, you can have whatever you want. Sounds good. Built like a tank. Favorite radio of many. Radio 13. Lucky 13 tonight. The Browning Golden Eagle R68 T68. And we will put indeed the Mod B. Thanks for bringing it by. And let me see if there's any others so we can shut down the net tonight. A lot of people staying up late as usual into early Sunday morning to make sure they get their full complements of tubes. But this last radio set has definitely increased our tube count tonight. And we are counting and mounting back in a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
Be the current and final OTR totals, your old tube radio network. Did pretty good tonight. Had a nice, solid, steady evening of radios checking in. A total of 13 radios tonight. And the SWL side, not too bad either. 67 total SWLs, 15 on page 1, 15 on page 2, 17 on page 3, and a whopping 20 on page 4. This is the first week of our new 8-week roster. And if you're playing the home game, as I should be, Where is... oh, okay. Your new 00, make sure you write in SWL 47. And that is Mike, who is going to be our 00 for the next couple of weeks, in the next 8 weeks to be exact. On the radios tonight, let me read down the list. The most heard manufacturer, well, it could have been the Robins and it could have been the Sonars. And indeed, there was a tie. The Sonars were pretty good all the way through to the last 10 minutes when the Brownings came in. So the Brownings and the Sonars tied tonight for the most heard manufacturer. Let's do the rundown of what we got. Radio number 1 tonight was a rare one that we don't normally get, the Knight C-22, the Knight kit to Charlie 22 from Cliff. Radio number 2 was the Sonar FS-3023. Their later and bigger radio with some great audio. All the Sonars were good tonight from Jerry. I think the loudest one was the Model E, though. I'll have to go back and watch the playback here, or listen to the archive audio. Radio number 3, Paul on the Robin T240D. Haven't had a yellow bird in a while. I know probably a fan of that. Mountain Maid, if she was listening tonight, would appreciate that, as we often would hear. She would be the lone 240D checking in. SWL4, or SWL7 on Radio 4, the Robin T123 with the Magic Eye, followed by Radio 5, Chris on the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A. The Sonar Model G from Jerry, the early 60s version with 8 channels. Radio 7 was Ed on the Tram TR27 Charlie. Radio number 8, the T-Berry Model T from Paul. Radio 9, out from Madera Heights, the Sonar Model E. Very loud audio on that old radio. Thanks, Jerry, for that. Radio 10, Mr. Ed on the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB. Radio 11, Harvey on the Buddy Bass, serial number 459 from Autronics. Radio 12, the Browning Golden Eagle R68 T68 from Ed, followed by the R68 T68 Mod B from Harvey, and that gives us a large total of tubes, 167, sort of plus or minus my unofficial count, but a count nonetheless. And our sponsor tonight, Brills, B-R-I-L-Z, television service at 1110.5 North 14th Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. Making it into the old tube radio pocket protector tonight. Anything else going on? I don't think there's any strange activity. Somebody said there's something going on with black holes in Mars or something. I don't know. But if the sun comes out tomorrow, we're all in good shape. Thanks for listening. Thanks to SearchLawrence.com for keeping the Nixie tubes running. Thanks to our SWLs and our tube radio operators for keeping us running. And as far as I know, we will be back here next week, which I think is Halloween. So it could be a little spooky. I have learned not to play in the years doing this. I've learned not to play any spooky sound effects that are pre-recorded that don't belong to the old tube radio network, because people do get mad. So if you hear any spooky sound effects next week, that will be the jingle singers and whatever ghosts and goblins are in the studio. Good night, everybody, from your old tube radio network.
Dennis?
This is the basic Dennis, over.
Actually, on that Buddy Bass, I broke into somebody's house and stole it. That's why it's the 459 radio.
Well, it could be the let's see, BR5. It could be the 549 radio. I mean, you got it from Hee Haw.
Yeah, 459 burglary.
Yeah. All right, you're going to have to try. Also, you're going to have to try the HT over there sometime near. Let's see, what do you want? An east-facing window to see if I can hear you. I'm going to switch my antenna out in the next couple of days to a better antenna, so it would be interesting.
hit that room. Okay. Anyway, that's a good thing it was just a 459. At least I don't have one that's a 187. Okay. You take care. We'll catch you maybe next week, one way or the other.
Okay, or 5150. I'm putting on my to-do list to see if I can get this foot switch apart so that things are a little bit easier. Good night, everybody, from your old tube radio network.
Good night, good net, and of course, good night to Bozo Control.
I don't know where the heck he is. I haven't seen him all. He came in and gave me that giant jar full of numbers and been gone all the way. I think it's because of all the good stuff in the green room, which is where I'm going. All right, let me see if I can correctly terminate the video stream here without getting shocked. Good night, everybody. And likewise,